Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Marsh, your moderator, and on behalf of our presenter, logi-Cloud.com, I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar entitled From eShop Checkout to Warehouse Parcel Ready just in 300 Seconds. This is the second episode of our webinar series. This webinar is designed to provide you insights regarding trends of today's e-commerce world, what in warehouse are harming your e-commerce ROI, and how does logi-Cloud help to reduce a 25-hour operation to just 7 hours? Before we begin and introduce our speaker, I would like to go over some housekeeping rules. All participants will be muted and your cameras are being turned off throughout the webinar so the speaker can present without interruption and of course for your privacy. If your connection stops, just log off and log back in and you'll be in the webinar room once again. Anytime you have any questions during the presentation, you may submit via the Q&A function located on the bottom part of your screen. The session will be recorded and sent to registered attendees afterwards. Leave your contact information for a free consultation and stick around for an exclusive offer at the end. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our speaker, Arthur Chen. For the last 20 years, Arthur Chen has focused on IT solutions, integrating technology to supply chain management and operations. He is constantly fascinated by how things and life function, as well as how each and tiny action leads to the bigger picture. His mission is to help small and medium-sized businesses and micro enterprises become professionals in warehouse and logistics operations. So, Arthur, over to you.
Thank you, Marsh. Hi, everyone. This is Arthur from logi-Cloud. Thank you very much for spending your valuable time with us this afternoon. This webinar is actually the second episode in our webinar series this year. So last time we have talked about the new options for SME for digitalization, and today we will have a deep dive into the warehouse processes. And in the coming next time, we will talk about how to connect your warehouse with the last mile delivery seamlessly in logi-Cloud, and also why the ERP plus WMS model could be good for you, and how do we do that in logi-Cloud. And lastly, we will talk about the advanced option for high volume performance using more advanced technology like sorting and AGV, which is robotic systems. This is the episode of the whole series, so let's start episode 2 of today. First of all, we can look at a survey which was done by SearchNote last year. Its main purpose is to check as the e-commerce trends and the challenges from e-commerce in the post-conflict times. So the survey finds over 50% of the people will have a challenge from the change of supply chain. And the next is the fulfilling demand of products. That means more demand. Obviously, the e-commerce is the business is raising after post-conflict, so the fulfillment demand is raising. And the next is come to the operation side. The challenge is the limitation of human resources. At the same time, because the fermentized order patterns, the inventory management will also becoming challenged. So for the rest are the challenges when facing the conflict, post-conflict stages. So here's another survey conducted by Honeywell a few years ago. It's also aimed at the impact of e-commerce. As we know, e-commerce, one characteristic in e-commerce is all the orders are fermentized. That means you will have more orders, but each order will be small. So that means that makes sense with the survey. The most critical challenges is the operation now need to fulfilling more orders and faster, but still had lower cost. And the next to that is the reducing the error because the order is fermentized. That means any small defect in order processing will be multiplied many times. So that's why the reducing error will become very significant challenges in the order fulfillment now. And also again, the labor problem. Because you have more things to do, you have to repeat the order fulfillment 100 times a day. So that means if you don't plan everything carefully, if you don't have the facility right, you have to trade off the productivity and accuracy with labor costs. And at the same time, the customer expectation has been raised quite a lot in this few years. So I think any e-commerce customers will be surprised by same-day delivery, right? That's what they are expecting now. Next-day delivery is kind of acceptable. If more than next day, then it's not a good standards in the customers' eyes nowadays. And so on, we have other challenges from the e-commerce. So in short, all this is telling us the customers' expectations has been raised. The supply chain has changed at the same time, and the demand of business changes has raised as well. But at the same time, we have to fix the internal problems before we can catch up all these trends and tackle all these challenges. Think about e-commerce. So what do you think is essentials in e-commerce business? Obviously, we could start with beautiful e-shops, and then we'll do some online marketing, branding, digital things. And if you have offline shops, then probably we can think about the online to offline synergies, all these things. And then we have to have customer services facing the hundreds, thousands of customers. And also we need to track our order delivery status, last miles. And another good things of e-commerce is payment, right? So we got the payment right away when the goods is sold. And all these are the essentials in e-commerce, yes. But are they all? Previously, we have done some polling for asking for the opinions from the audience previously. So we get a result that's the largest cost in general eyes, largest cost when developing e-commerce business falls into e-commerce facilities. This is opinions. Most people will think that the e-com facilities, including eShop, payment gateway, digital marketing, everything should take the most part of the cost. But usually people will underestimate the logistic part, the fulfillment cost, which including the warehousing and last mile deliveries. We will explain it in the next slide. So here's the picturized figure. So when we have a selling price, then we will have a goods cost, right? And then we have e-com facility costs, and plus some fulfillment costs, which comes from the warehousing and last mile. And all this may take like 55% of the cost. That means the profit margin will be 45%. So this is not bad. This ROI pattern is not bad, right? This is what we expect. However, if we think deeper, what's about the order fulfillment and what's in that? It's the major cost in your fulfillment cost from the warehousing and also partly related to the last mile delivery. So in the order fulfillment, usually, let's say we need to take care about 100 or 300 or 800, let's say 300 orders. Anyway, we have to have a data information flow from the store on hand, from the order processing status and the delivery status. We need to have all this information to have a good order fulfillment performance. And at the physical side, we need to handle the stock in, inventory handling, and then get the order, do the picking, do the packing, book the courier, and hand over the last mile. This is what's happening in order fulfillment, right? In the warehouse for order fulfillment. And previously we asked about people's opinions. What's the fulfillment operation issue mostly will be suffering in e-commerce world? So the answers was quite matched to what we understood. The accuracy comes first, and then the productivity and the picking efficiency. So that means the accuracy is the most important part. But a lot of people is actually trading off their efficiency or productivity to achieve a higher accuracy. So that's why some warehouses, if they are not designed very well, they are not equipped with the right software or SOP, they are suffering from high costs in order fulfillment. It's because they spend a lot of effort and human resources to ensure the accuracy and trading off the picking efficiency and productivity. Okay, so after all these high-level write-ups, let's dive in to see what is happening, what is the daily fulfillment operator is facing. So imagine we are working in a warehouse, and this warehouse is serving e-commerce business. So the first thing when talking about efficiency is how effective we can get orders. Probably the basic things log into each eShop to check time to time. Some eShops will have function to let you download the Excel file, and you can do some massage on it and making it in the picking list, and then pass the picking sheets to the picking team to do that. So this is the order to pick lead time. So in your imagine or in your real life, how long is this order to pick lead time? 1 hour, 2 hours, overnight? And if you want to improve this lead time, what cost you need to pay? Next thing in efficiency is the picking, the most important part. So in your warehouse, I'm not sure how many bin locations do you have, but generally in one normal warehouse, the bin location could be over 100, even over thousands. How the picker can know where to go, which right location to be, and how they can know which is the right SKU they should pick. This is the most important part in the picking. And that will determine how quick the picker can find and pick an SKU. So in your warehouses, will we pick one order for one trip and multiple order multiple trips, or just in one trip? Yeah, all these are the challenges in the picking in the warehouses. Let's do a simple calculation. If in the warehouse, the picking one trip will be 5 minutes. If we pick order by order, for 300 orders, it will be 25 hours. That's horrible, right? And after all this, after you finish the picking, you still need to think about if you are following the first in, first out rules or the first expire, first out rules, or your picker can follow that. Because it will jeopardize your storage costs if you are not doing that. But how sure are you are doing it right, or your picking team is doing it right? This is the second challenge. And then we come to packing. Let's do a simulation. So when you're a packer, what's a packer usually do? They will select the box in right size and put items in the box and seal it. Let's say this will take 90 seconds. And then the packer will spend 20 seconds on measuring the box dimensions. But some smarter warehouse will preset the warehouse sizes, so we just need to determine whether it's a big box, medium box, or small box. But for whatever way, you need to record the dimension. and then you need to spend about 30 seconds to weight the carton box, and then input the weights to somewhere or write it down. And then probably you need to spend 10 more seconds to mark on the box which order this box belongs to, so that we don't mix up the order boxes. So totally this here we have 150 seconds. What if we pack 300 orders, which will be 12.5 hours? It's another huge time. And lastly, talking about the efficiency, how your warehouse is doing, or how will your warehouse in your imagination can do the courier booking. Manual work, that will be terrible. But luckily, a lot of couriers is providing different software or portal to allow you to do the batch booking, right? But still, how much time you need to handle it for 300 orders? And also, how can you update the order status and notify the seller or the customers when the parcel sent out from the warehouses? How much time you need to spend on this? Our suggestion on this is find a digital way for it. It's not difficult nowadays to have a digital way to do the courier booking. Don't do it manually. It will be terrible when you start handling e-commerce. So besides efficiency, next one is the accuracy. So I think the end user, especially e-commerce users, they are getting used to receiving the right items for nowadays. Yeah, that is not a surprise. That's something like normal. But still, sometimes wrong item will be sent to the end users. Some end users may be expecting you to send them one items so that they can complain and ask for extra benefits, ask for returns and exchange of goods, all these things. Yeah, but that's just a joke. But anyway, it's common sense that a wrong item sending will actually immediately and actually harming the loyalty and return buying willingness of your customers. It will harm your brand reputations, and what's worse is you still need to spend the cost to rearrange the fulfillment, to arrange the returns, and also spending time and effort, which is cost again at the error investigation. So this is why the accuracy is important. In e-commerce world, like I mentioned, all the orders are fragmentized. You will repeat the same order fulfillment like hundreds, even thousands a day. That means you have 1,000 chances to make a mistake if it's not arranged very well. So how it could be wrong? Let's look at these two barcodes on the upper screen. Is these two different items or they are the same items? Yeah, if you don't look very carefully, probably you will think they are the same, right? Think about in your warehouses, if your picker is not using barcode scanning, but just by their bare eyes to match the order item or the SKU with their physical SKU, they probably will make it wrong. They'll make a mistake, definitely. And when it comes to packer, let's look at these two green order numbers. Are they the same? Yes, it's very easy for packers to mix up the orders, right? So these are the two places you can make a mistake and cause error in your accuracy. But what about if you stick the courier waybill label to the wrong box? That will make mistake as well, make the end result a mistake as well. And what about what you put on the courier waybill or on the order is a wrong delivery address because somebody write it wrong, or if you are using Excel file, somebody accidentally shift up one row in the Excel file. That means you will have maybe near 100 orders in one address. All these other places could make mistakes very easily in the order fulfillment. So we usually in warehouse we spend a lot of effort and time to prevent all this, right? But think about this: in e-commerce world, the order is the number of orders is high, so that means a very tiny defect will be multiplied many times. Even we can guarantee the warehouse at 99.7 accuracy. If we handle 300 orders, which probably be 600 order lines for 6 days in a week, even that, we are still making mistake about 11 times a week. That's totally unacceptable, right? But even we can find a lot of ways, spend a lot of effort to ensure the accuracy to reach 90.97%, still we will make one mistake a week. Do you think that's acceptable for e-commerce? I think the answer is no, right? So now you can see the warehouse is spending a lot of things to ensure the efficiency, so that's okay. They can take care of more orders. They need to spend a lot of effort to prevent errors because it's very easy to make a mistake. So after fixing all this, it's not done yet. Still, you have to manage the data. You have to update the inventory data. You have to update the bin location records so that your next picking could be correct. And you need to update the 300 orders, even update them in the eShops. And then still internally, probably you need to update your accounting software because those are sales revenue, and so that the P&L could be fed. All this data works is what's after the physical works. That's why we say the order fulfillment is not easy, it's hard. Just like mentioned, if you are working in a warehouse, you need to take care, let's say 5 eShops, 300 orders a day, which is talking about 600 order lines, which you need to pick from 100 bin locations, and to pack 300 orders, and you need to book the courier delivery for these 300 orders and make sure everything is right, no error, zero error. And then you need to update the external record and then update the internal records. This is all the work you need to do in order fulfillment, not just physical, but also data management. And this is what you'll be facing when you start e-commerce. Still, there are exceptions. So after working very hard every day, handling all the physical activities, all the data management to ensure everything is correct and efficient, still you will have exceptions to handle. Probably, for example, if you receive 50 orders, but there are only 30 pieces of SKU available, you need to manage that exception. What if the picker found out the SKU is expired right on the spot? And then what if you pass the 300 picking sheets to the picker, but by the end of the day, you just got 296 pieces returned. 4 picking sheets are missing. Are they done or are they not done yet? You don't know. You still have to find out. You still have all the information on hand. What if a VIP called up and asked you what's the status of his or her orders? You need to find out the answer of that, right? And also, human resources is a problem. Not just efficient or enough human resources to handling the peak season or what. It's also if we don't manage the warehouse in a digital ways, probably we are facing a very bad situation. It's like peak season will be coming in 2 days, but the warehouse key man who is the only one remember everything in the warehouse is getting sick, and he probably come back to work in 2 days. So what will happen in your warehouse for this peak season? So all these are challenges in the warehouses. If you don't manage them carefully and with the right tools, probably you need to put a lot of costs on the human resources, the labors, on quality check, on the exceptional fix, on data processing. So if you do it this way, think about, imagine the e-commerce ROI still there? Probably your profit margin will be jeopardized by the fulfillment and operation costs, right? So this is the reason why people sometimes will underestimate the challenges and the costs in fulfillment, especially when doing e-commerce business. So after this deep diving, let me show you one video about how logi-Cloud will help you to do the e-commerce fulfillment. Okay, so what you're seeing on the screen now is somebody, the logi-Cloud users, which could be the warehouse customer service officer or the back office people, is setting up a connector to connect to the Shopify shop. They don't need to have any IT knowledge. They just input the right key, security key there, and it's done. You have set up one connector connecting to your Shopify eShop. And in the next, you can set up some rules, automation rules, to tell the system how to manage the order when the order arrives. For example, if it's a get from the Shopify eShops, probably you can use SF Express for the last mile delivery, or if the end user is in different countries, you can select which fulfillment center to fulfill that and which courier to use that. This is all the automation rules about. You can set up all these different kind of rules in logi-Cloud to help you to manage the daily orders automatically. This probably will reduce 90% of daily workload in your order preparation. And so that you don't need to log into Shopify or any other eShop anymore to get orders. The orders will be get automatically, just like this example. Yeah, some people, some end user is browsing your eShops. They check as the items they like. They put that in the shopping cart. And before checkout, they find that, okay, I like to have one more items. Let's say a shopping bag. So totally, this user is buying two items, two pieces. And once he checked out, the payment is secured, then the order will be automatically grabbed to logi-Cloud. Your customer service will see that immediately, and your warehouses will see that immediately as well, because the automation rules have handled the order assignment, warehouse assignment, and the courier selection already. And all the information, including the delivery information, the contact numbers, are copied from your eShop automatically and digitally, so that nobody will need to write anything about that. So there will not be any human typing or written errors. So the order will be seen in the warehouse at the same time, so with the same information. So in the warehouse, what the supervisor can do is using one of the picking methods which are available in logi-Cloud. We call it wave picking. So what the supervisor is doing now is group a bunch of order together into one picking wave. So he is selecting the order now. by some criteria, filter out 12 orders. So he put that all these 12 orders in one picking wave. That means his picker don't need to pick 12 times, but just one times in one trip. That's the efficiency saving in the wave picking practice. So once the supervisor releases this work, he don't need to pass any paper to the picker. The picker just need to use the Android app, log in the industrial device, select the order or scan the orders, then he can start picking right away. There's no any paper needed. And the system will guide him through where to go, which SKU to pick, and the picker needs to scan to confirm he arrived at the right location, pick the right SKU. If there is any error, it will be stopped immediately. And actually, this picker doesn't need to know whether he's picking one order or he's picking for 10 orders. He just pick what's the system guide him through and scan the SKU to make sure he pick the right items and pick the right quantity. But after all this picking, he is actually performing wave picking for multiple orders in one shot. So once he arrived at the sorting area, he can scan the SKU, then the system will immediately telling him which order needs this SKU and how many pieces the order needs. And the picker needs to scan the order to confirm he dropped the item to the right orders. So probably the picker can do the order sorting, put the SKU to the orders SKU by SKU, and it's done. So in this example, you can see the picker have completed 5 orders. Then the packer side, the packer can scan the SKU again. At this point, the system will verify again if the SKU is matching with the orders. Then the packer can input the weights, select the carton size, input the weights. And after all this, the courier weight bill could be printed out immediately. Okay, and then the packer will stick this label to the box. So he's managing packing and weight bill labeling one box by one box. So there's no chance for him to mix up the box and the weight bill number. So once the order is handed over to a courier, the status will be changed in the warehouses. The status will be changed in your back-end office. So your warehouse and your CS know what has happened to the order. And the weight bill number and also status will be updated back to Shopify. Okay, as you can see, with logi-Cloud, the whole e-commerce order fulfillment path is extremely smooth. There's no human data entry anymore, and the efficiency is high. You can employ some wave booking, wave picking methods, and the SOP in the system. The picking will be guided. Each SKU will be scanned more than 2 times, so that you can achieve efficiency and accuracy at the same time. The booking, everything is automatic, and the order data update is automatic as well. Video is about 7 minutes long, so I've done a very simple, maybe silly calculation, but it's simple enough to explain. Okay, so the video is about 7 minutes. So that means that in the video we have completed pick and packing and courier booking for 5 orders, right? So that means we can handle 5 orders in 7 minutes. So by a simple calculation, for 300 orders, we can handle that in 420 minutes, which will be 7 hours. And we get all this done. And no matter the efficiency and accuracy are secured and ensured. At the same time, we don't need to do any data updates. Everything will be updated immediately, including the orders status, including your inventory, including the bin location status, including the eShops. And also all this data are digitalized, which means you can export in Excel format, share to others, or they are ready in the API for integrations. And all the operation data and the tracking will be stored in the system at the same time, which means you have the report ready immediately after the work is done. Or you can check back the history like 1 month or even 1 year ago for what's happening in that days. Everything's there, but you don't need to update anything. This will save the time or in the warehouse. So the warehouse can spending 100% time and effort on the physical handling. So this is what logi-Cloud is providing and what logi-Cloud can help to achieve. So when you may wonder what is logi-Cloud then. So logi-Cloud is actually, I can say it's a warehouse management system, a WMS, but it's more modern with more new features and new designs to fulfill the needs nowadays. We simplified everything that could be simplified in logi-Cloud, so that for the SME, it's very easy to start with. There's no barriers or bundles, there's no IT burdens, there's no financial burdens. You don't need to invest heavily upfront, but start to use it immediately. And it's flexible for different sizes and scale of operations. But still, we still keep the essential things in the warehouse, in the operation within logi-Cloud, like the real-time update, like barcode scanning, which is the most cost-effective way, like the real-time information sharing. We keep all these essential things in the logi-Cloud. So overall, it's simple to start with, but still you will get benefits from the productivity improvement, from accuracy guarantee, and also could be operate one professional result in simpler ways. This is what logi-Cloud is providing. So logi-Cloud is designed best fit for FMCG orders. So that you can use it for retail or wholesaling, retail distribution, or you can use it for e-commerce fulfillment, or you can use for your contract logistics in where you are serving retail and e-commerce customers. And flexibility. logi-Cloud could be used very fastly. You can use it as a standalone, using Excel file to manage the ordering, import orders things. You can use logi-Cloud pre-built connectors to connect to different eShops to fetch the order automatically. And by the way, we are keep enhancing the connector list. That means that we will have 2 or 3 new connectors added every month. And also you can use pre-built connectors to connect to your favorable courier or last mile service providers to enable the courier booking automatically. Or you can use logi-Cloud's API to connect to different supply chain platforms, different ERP or business software to enable the real-time integrations. All these are ready in logi-Cloud, ready for use, but you don't need to use them at all in the upfront. You can select what you need at the time and change what you are using from time to time. And logi-Cloud is designed for operation, so that in the mobile computer app is well designed, so that the operator will have the guidance what to do. If they make a mistake, they will be stopped right away at the spot. There will be some guidelines telling them how to do something. They will be barcode scanning for the operator to tell the system what they are doing, and the system will respond immediately whether they are doing right or doing wrong. If they are doing right, the related data at the backend will be updated immediately. That's why all the information in logi-Cloud is real-time and mostly reliable, because it comes from your physical handling procedures and physical handling operators. And at the other side, for the supervisor, manager, or back office, or other clerical workers, they will use the web application to see all the inventory and all the data in real time. They can search, they can filter, they can export Excel file with all the data they find out. And there are functions for them to control the operation flows and workloads in the warehouses. So that will be very friendly for the supervisor to manage his warehouse, but just by his desk, instead of walking around talking to 20 people in the whole days. He can just sit on his desk and he will have the real-time information what is happening in the warehouse, what was happening yesterday. He can check the history, and also he can control which order to pick, what to do in the next. The whole go-live lead time of logi-Cloud, although it's a WMS, you can say it's a WMS definitely, but it's not traditional WMS. In the traditional WMS, the industrial standard for go live lead time is probably over 6 months, and plus the stabilizing period for your operation team to get used to the software, probably that will be 3 other months. That means from the day 1 until you see the return of this investment, traditional WMS will need 9 months before you can see the returns. But for logi-Cloud, the whole onboarding or go live plan is just about 5 days. And in these 5 days, we're spending more than 4 days focusing on the training and telling your, educating your warehouse supervisor and warehouse team how to use logi-Cloud for the existing scenarios and also for the future possible scenarios. So at the 6th day, you can start a real-time paperless operation immediately. And logi-Cloud is subscription-based. That means you will pay month by month. But this monthly fee, besides the software, you are also enjoying the daily customer service and technical support. You are enjoying all the backends, recovery, security, backup facilities, and the best IT practice at the backend as well. You will enjoy a 99.9% online rate guarantee. And after all this monthly fees also let you enjoying a continued development and always fresh software. That means our development teams keep updating the software to fix the errors, any possible error or any error found by any customers. We will release that by a weekly basis, and by a monthly basis, we will have a feature release. We will put more fancy features or some new SOP. Just like mentioned, we have different picking methods, so we will have additional picking methods for the new business models from time to time. And all this continued development is covered by the 1 monthly fee already. So that's why we call it when using logi-Cloud, you are using always fresh software. Yeah, that's the end of this episode. And right now we are promoting have a promotion package for Singapore companies. So the package is about a 12-month free subscription. So it's quite a good chance for companies who like to have water testing on e-commerce or B2C warehouse operations with logi-Cloud. So remember this promotion code, and if you are Singapore business entities, then you are qualified. So if you have any questions you want to ask, just check at our WhatsApp, or we have other ways to get in contact. So this is the second last slide. I like to thank you for your time, and also I like to remind again we have 3 more episodes coming in the next 2 months. So we will talk about how to connect warehouse with last mile. We will talk about how to connect warehouse with the ERP, and also more advanced options for higher volumes like the light sorting and AGV. So if you want to know any more information on logi-Cloud or on us, just search logi-Cloud in most common social medias. You can check our website or directly talk to us by Singapore mobile numbers or by WhatsApp, or we have online form to record your questions. So yeah, after this is a Q&A session, so leave this to Marsh to manage. Thank you, Marsh.
All right, thank you, Arthur, for running the discussions. And I hope that our attendees have gained a lot of insights from what you have just discussed. And to our audience, we have now received your questions, and I would like to thank all of you for sending them in. By the way, if we don't get your questions today, we'll definitely follow up afterwards through an email. Now let's move on to the question and answer portion. Okay, for our first question, how many operators can log into the system at the same time? So I'll give the floor to Arthur to answer the question. Arthur?
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, we don't have a limitation on that, but for log into logi-Cloud, you need a user license. That is the one most basic determining factor of the monthly fee. So we charge by number of users, and that's probably the major cost in the monthly subscription fee. So back to the question, you can, depends on how many users you need to operate the whole things. You can have as small as 2 users. You can start with that, it still work very well. Or you can enhance that to fulfill your bigger team, like 20 or even 30 users. We have customers who have warehouses in different locations using logi-Cloud in the same environment. That means they are sharing the information across multiple locations, and they have like 10 operators, 10 users in each warehouses. Plus the back office, it could be over 40 or even 50. So we don't have a limitation on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Arthur. Now let's move on to our second question. Okay, how many eShops or couriers does logi-Cloud connect to? Arthur?
Yes. So our approach is we pre-build all these, we call it connectors, because they are pre-built. That means that they could be turned on by the normal users right away and immediately. So right at this moment, we have about 12 eShop connectors, connected to 12 different types of marketplaces and eShop software like Magento or WordPress. And also we have like about 10 to 50 courier connectors at this moment. And they include the traditional courier players like DHL, FedEx, UPS, or including new last mile service providers, and also including tracking system providers. So we keep this number going month to month. That means we keep pre-building different connectors to the popular marketplaces or courier service providers in different markets. For Singapore right now, we are developing connectors for the 2 most popular couriers, and we are also developing one eShop connector to another popular marketplaces in Singapore. But for other marketplaces like Lazada, Zalora, Shopee, these popular marketplaces in South Asia, we have content ready already.
All right, thank you so much, Arthur. And I hope that everything is clear now to our audience. And now let's go on to the third question. I think this is our last question for today. Does logi-Cloud support serial number management? Arthur?
Okay, thank you. Yes, we do have that. This is very interesting question, because if you asked me 2 months ago with this question, I would say no, because we at that time we support expiry date and manufacturing batch only for the inventory in comprehensiveness. But we just by a monthly release, just last month, we released the serial number control features. So that means logi-Cloud today is ready to manage serial number control the SKUs, like computers, like mobile phones. If your warehouse is handling all this kind of consumer products, or some very high value products which you use serial number to control, that logi-Cloud is ready.
Okay, thank you so much, Arthur, for running that excellent Q&A session. This concludes the second episode of our webinar series. We'll have more webinars coming soon. Don't forget to contact us via WhatsApp and avail our 12-month free subscription. Our contact details are flashed on the screen. Once again, this is Marsh. Hope to have you at our next webinar event. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a pleasant day ahead. Goodbye!